All right, guys. My name is James, host of the Northern Knock podcast, bringing a spotlight to the best of the best when it comes to Canadian door knockers. And we got a special guest today. I'm excited to speak to this young man. This guy made history not only in Canada, but in the entire continent of North America. The first rookie ever to sell a golden door in alarms. He's 21 years old, and he is on a great path in his career. Please welcome Daniil Tarasenco. Daniil, how you doing today, my friend?
I'm doing good. Thank you for that amazing intro, James. Appreciate that a lot.
Absolutely, man. It's well-deserved. It's well-deserved. We kind of connected when both of us were going through our golden door journey right at the tail end. So it's awesome to finally meet you and get a chance to speak to you. But yeah, man, how you been? How you enjoying life now that you hit the golden door?
Honestly, I don't think I've still fully processed it because every day I wake up and I'm still thinking about going to crush more alarms. I'm still like in the stressed out mode. So I'm just waiting for that to kind of fade out. Maybe once I go to Mexico now, it kind of will. But I still feel like I did during the season where I wake up every day and it's like, how many alarms can I sell today? A
I know I kind
little
of
bit of that.
struggled with that too, like waking up and just having really not much to do. And it's kind of like an uncomfortable feeling, you know?
Mhm.
You feel like you had more in the tank after you hit it?
Yeah, 100%. 100%. I could keep going all year.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
It
found
just,
like a zen. Yeah.
yeah. It gets easier, right? When you get in that routine, that habit of just getting out there and grinding.
That's right. When you have like a goal, like I knew I would sell no matter what. At this point, it's like I know I'm making money, right? That's the thing with door to door, but it's like how many I would sell. That's the part that stressed me out. It's like, come on, when can I get this thing done? And especially when I would had like 400 booked, that's when I hit the golden door, but not all of them were installed. I had like 15 booked out. I was still really stressed because I needed to get more. And I was finally relieved when my 400th got actually installed. And then it was a breeze after that.
I love that. Okay. Well, we'll break it all down. But first, I want you to just tell us about your story, peel back the onion, take us all the way back to childhood. But before we do that, I just want to go over your official stat line. What's kind of funny is normally I ask you about your stats for your whole sales career when we do these podcasts, but for you, it's just 1 year. 1 year, you did 405 alarms, bonkers. But on top of that, you also did 178 mobility, so cell phone plans, and 125 FFH, so internet plans. So total, revenue generating units, you sold 708 units, which is incredible to say the least. So for those that don't know, Daniil works for a company who works with TELUS, so he's able to sell multiple products. So in total, he sold 708 separate products that all obviously generated different types of revenues. But let's get into it, Daniil. Take us all the way back, your childhood, where are you from, and what were some of the things that you think happened that helped shape you as just a top-tier salesperson, and how did those things leak into business? Go ahead.
Yeah, so I'm actually from a little country called Moldova in Eastern Europe. That's where I was born. And it's a very poor country, one of the poorest countries in Europe, which makes it a unique and challenging environment, especially for my parents when they brought us over to Canada when I was 6. That's when we emigrated over, came straight to Quebec, stayed there for a year, and then we went to Fort McMurray. Um, grew up grew up in Fort Mac, moved to Kelowna after the fire for a couple of years, then went back there, graduated, and then I started doing sales when I came back to Kelowna a year ago. Some of the things that shaped me is my parents always had me in some type of activity, a lot of sports. They've always had me in music. They were more focused on that. We never really had screens around till we were much older. My parents were like those type of people, very healthy, taking away the screens, more focused on development. And it was tough because I was growing up with ADHD, right? Like attention deficit disorder. So having that and still doing all those activities, sometimes it got tough because if I stopped enjoying it, it would be tough to keep going. But my dad would make me keep going. And that taught me a lot of discipline that even though you might not want to do something, if you can zoom out and look at the broader picture and the bigger goal, you'll find that even the monotony is worth it and the repetitions. So I always did that, did martial arts as well. And one big thing that motivated me is not the sales itself, but my ultimate goal, which I've always known was to retire my parents. My dream is to tell my dad that he can stop working. I want to accomplish that by the end of next year. So having that and going into sales with that mindset really helped me stay out there every day and motivated me because I knew that by achieving this golden door, even though I was a rookie, it would open up so many more opportunities for me in terms of, having credibility in the industry, having connections. But that's pretty much it. Before that, I didn't really have so much sales experience. I had some remote sales experience because I'm also passionate about doing that. But in terms of door to door, that was it.
Wow. Okay. So how long were you in Moldova for? Not sure if you mentioned that.
Oh, just 6 years when I
6 years.
was young. Yeah.
Okay, got it. So immigrant parents.
Mhm.
Okay, got it. And so you grew up, working hard, no screens. When did you start to realize that you had a passion for business?
I always kind of had one. I think might have been when I was 12 and I started shoveling snow for money and realized that like, wow, I could make 20 bucks in like 20 minutes instead of making like a traditional, because I started working when I was 12 and making $12 an hour at the ski hill, freezing my ass off. That that sucked. I realized that I never wanted to work a normal job, even though I did work many normal jobs after that. Uh, but honestly, I never found success in having. I had like an amazing $30 an hour job at the gym, doing like just sitting at a desk pretty much and cleaning. And I just absolutely despise that. Even though the people were great, I realized that like I cannot work normal jobs. That is not something I ever want to do. And I swore that that would be my last normal job ever, which it was since I took on sales. And I think that'll hold very true that I'll never ever go back to something like that. But yeah, it was when I was 12. I started shoveling snow. Um, we were selling raffle tickets and stuff, and I realized getting that hit of dopamine after you make a sale yourself, after you sell somebody something, is incredible, especially for kids with ADHD, right? Because our brain works off things that we're interested in. And if you're interested in something, you get a hit of dopamine when that thing happens. So that's why sales is incredible for that, because every time I'd make a sale, I'd get a hit of dopamine. That's why there's a lot of addiction with kids with attention disorders, especially to video games, um, junk food, because that's all dopamine, right? So you can translate that into sales, which is amazing.
That's interesting because you're right. There's actually a lot of really, successful people in sales that all have that ADHD, right? But
Mm.
yeah, nothing like the sales high. Nothing like the sales high. You guys want to experience peak confidence? It's go sell 3 accounts and you're just on top of the world. But cool, man. Tell us about your recruiting story. So how did you get into the industry? Who recruited you? Talk about that story. How did that all fall into place?
So my cousin would always tell me about the job, and he was like, "Oh, I made this much money. Like, I made this much money," and I was like, sounds interesting." And I was kind of thinking about it because I needed a lifestyle change. I was tired of living in my hometown. And I was kind of thinking, like, how crazy would it be to try door to door sales again? Because I actually, when I was 16, if you guys definitely know who Oliver Lester is, right? He had a window cleaning company in Vancouver. So when I was 16, I said, screw it. And I flew all the way to Vancouver like it was right at the beginning of COVID, and I flew there to do door-to-door sales with Oliver. I lasted 2 weeks. I hated it. It was so tough. I literally did windows for 2 weeks, sold, or not even, it was like a week, and I sold like a couple accounts, and then I just went home because of how tough it was. So that's why it was tough for me to get back into door-to-door sales. But I had a gut feeling that that's where I needed to be, especially after I got into a lot of debt from my business. So that's I just took my cousin up on the opportunity, said screw it, and moved to Kelowna from Fort McMurray, packed everything and left.
Unreal, man. Unreal. Okay. Now you get into door-to-door sales. You didn't do well your first 2 weeks selling windows. So what was your mindset? Let's talk about your golden door journey. What was your mindset going into, this new adventure with, TELUS and Knock and Legacy companies you worked for? Did you come into it with a little bit of a chip on your shoulder, guns a-blazing, or did you come into it like, hey, I'm just going to give this a shot? What was your mindset going into the year?
No, there was no giving it a shot. I had to make it work. And that's pretty much what my mindset was. I had a fire under my ass, and I have another fire under my ass right now. So I'm that type of guy. I always need to have a fire under my ass. And that's kind of how I came in. I was like, I don't care how hard it is. I don't care how many people tell me no, how embarrassed I'll be when I go back and knock my hometown, which was very hard for me. I remember talking to Arjun about it, but I just knew I had to make it work.
So when did you decide that you were going to go for a golden door? At what point?
I don't remember the exact point, but I remember during the meetings, during the morning meetings, the twins would tell me about it and how crazy of an achievement it would be and how unreal it would be of an achievement. And I was like, okay, like I can do this. I have to do it. I have to do it sometime within the first month. And honestly, just the amount of belief that they had in me from like my performance at the beginning, because I wasn't doing like crazy numbers, but at the beginning when a rookie starts, your job is to make them feel like they're doing amazing, which they are, because it's a tough job, right? You can go two ways. Like either you can keep riding the delusion and the high, or you can just sink into the reality of how hard it is and let your anxiety take over and then quit. So I kept riding that high a lot until I actually got good. And at the beginning, I realized, I think it was probably like maybe 30, 40 alarms in, that it's something I would want to take on. I actually took a photo. Quickly find it here. I took a photo with Arjun's golden door at the beginning, and that's, I think, when my journey really started. So this was in 2024.
You know what's funny?
April.
I did the exact same thing with Arjun's golden door.
Really?
That's hilarious. Yeah, like that. Like I don't know if I have it too. A little picture on my vision board, right here on my wall, and it's got Arjun's golden door there. I love that, man.
So I took that. That was April 10th.
Yeah,
April
that's unreal.
10th.
How cool is that? How cool is
It
that,
is
man?
cool, right? Now
Spoken into existence. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's super awesome, man. Okay, so did you find immediate success? Like, obviously, you came in, fire under your ass, you worked your hours clearly. Did you find that immediate success, or did it take you a week, 2 weeks, or was it kind of right away, like, okay, you start to get some momentum?
Surprisingly, I didn't have immediate success. I know most of the rookies that are coming in here, they're being quite successful at the beginning, which gives me a lot of hope for them. I'm excited to see how they grow. We got some really great recruits this year, but no, I actually didn't. It took me about a week. I had like a mobility sale in the first week that never went through, but I would say it took me a week to get my first alarm, and it was tough. But I don't remember ever getting demotivated once. I took some breaks for like a couple of minutes, but no, surprisingly, I didn't have immediate success as the grinder.
I love it. I love it, though. So after a couple weeks, all of a sudden you started to find that momentum where you started to pick it up, one sale a day kind of thing, or what was the kind of the gradual momentum?
Yeah, it was one sale a day for most of the day. Sometimes at the beginning, maybe I would let it go with like an internet, but usually I would grind until I got at least one sale a day, sometimes two if I'm lucky. And then I had my first 3 day, which was amazing.
Yep, that feels good. And did you, like, what was your kind of daily average throughout the year once you were rolling? What was your kind of
Three,
daily, 3 a day? Yeah.
3 a day was my daily average. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's super cool just because it shows just a commitment to just consistency, right? Like, it's not like you were out there selling, I'm sure you had your days where you're selling 7s and 8s and whatever, but 3 a day, just pounding the stone, just one day at a time, finding that consistency, it leads to a golden door, after a certain time period.
And there was a lot of days where I sold one. And I did have some bagel days this year, even though I worked. There was a day where I worked, I remember 10 hours and I didn't sell anything, which was surprising for me because it was a tough market. I had weeks where I would sell one a day. I had a whole week in, I can't remember which market it was, but I sold one and then I sold three the next day, all three canceled. And I just had weeks where I felt like, am I really going to do this? Like, do I really have the skill? So at the end of the day, you're going to have, but those weeks kind of stopped disappearing after a while, just because I realized what like the essence of sales is and what actually gets the accounts. But I definitely had those weeks, even when I got back to Kelowna and I was at the 300 and something, my final push, I had a week like that where I was barely selling because of how tough the market was. So definitely.
Yeah. Yeah. No, for sure. I also had a bagel day in preseason. In pest control, obviously, there's a little bit more volume. So, I was selling 5 a day. But yeah, you have those days, right? No one is immune to what this job can do in terms
Mm-hmm.
of, some days are better than others, right? There's a little bit of ups and downs, but as long as you keep pounding that stone, it all evens out in the end, right? So talk to me about some of the tougher times. Talk to me about some of the tough times through your Golden Door journey. Did you have those tough times? And how were you able to, push through those times?
Yeah, I had a lot of really tough times, weeks where it was days, like groups of days where, or just sales that I knew I could have closed, but I didn't. And that really affected me mentally. And that's where having an amazing mentor kind of stepped in. Having Arjun as my mentor, I'd be able to call him whenever, and he'd keep reminding me that it's all about the input. And when I really switched that mindset to it being all about the inputs and not the results, that's where it made all the difference over time, because it wasn't like a gradual shift where I can immediately start thinking like, oh, since I'm working, then I must be good. No, because you still have to put in quality work. So I would say, yeah, most of the tough times came from, whether it was weather, right now, winter knocking, we had to do it, or just tough areas with tough customers who are extremely rude, right? That's part of the job. Um, but that's pretty much it. It was just getting through those low sales volume weeks. I would say that would have been the toughest part.
It's just what you just said there, though, is the most powerful concept, I think, in all sales, is just the power of just focusing on the inputs. If you
Mhm.
and in anything in life, if you want anything in life, you just focus on the inputs and just keep on focusing on that. Don't focus at the end result. We're all human, so the human mind comes into play. The human mind starts to emotionalize things, starts to get emotional, starts to get down, starts to get up. But if you can just simply focus on the inputs and that's it, it's a law. It's a law of averages. Your results are going to come. And it's just door-to-door sales is so cool because you get to actually quantify that and see that. Where if, hey, I just talk to X amount of people per day and I only focus on that, the sales just come naturally, right? But if you're not focusing on that, you're not tracking your inputs, you're not tracking, the amount of people you're talking to. The human mind is brutal, right? You might talk to only 10 people, but if you're not tracking that and realizing, oh, I only spoke to 10 people, no need to get upset here. The human mind comes into play and it starts saying, oh, dude, this area sucks. Oh, dude, you're no good. Oh, dude, you need to take a break. Oh, dude, your pitch is garbage, right? And then you start to give up, right? So what you
That's
just said
right.
there is so important, man. Just focus on the inputs. Results are inevitable. That's what I always say. So
Mhm.
on that note, were you tracking your numbers throughout the whole year? What did that look like?
Yeah, I was tracking my numbers, honestly, man. It's gonna sound funny, but they were very, very inconsistent. There would be some areas where even though I was talking to a lot of people, I wouldn't be selling, and then there was some areas where I was knocking a lot of doors, but I wasn't talking to a lot of people. And I was selling pretty much everyone I was talking to. So it was interesting. My averages were kind of all over the place because yeah, in that market that I told you, I was like selling one a day for the week and bageling, and it was all canceling. I was talking to pretty much every door, but they were shutting me out right away. I don't know if it was an energy thing. I'm usually pretty good at identifying that where I'm thinking, am I coming into the doors with a negative mindset? Am I portraying negativity? Is that why people are shutting me out right away? But yeah, they were all over the place. The numbers were all over the place. So it was interesting.
It's interesting, right? But, at the end of the day, even if they're all over the place, you can take a look and actually get what your actual average is. And that'll just give you direction, right? Because at
That,
the end of
of
the
course.
day, right, numbers don't lie, right? Women lie, men lie, numbers don't. If you can get your average, write it all down, then boom, you're off to the races. But one thing that I think a lot of sales reps make the mistake of doing is they track too many things, right? You've heard it before. Guys do trainings where they say, doors knock, people talk to, spouse objection, this objection, that objection. For me personally, like if you're that type of person where you can handle all those numbers, great. For me personally, that was too much, right? When you're on the doors, you want to get in the groove. You don't want to track everything. So for me, really, the main metric was like doors knocked, people talked to, price drops, close. That was it, right? And more importantly, it was just that people talk to, right? If you talk to enough people, it shows you're working the hours, you're gonna make the sales happen, right? But anyways, but cool, man. So let's talk about the twins. Obviously, you talked, quite a bit now about Arjun. Arjun's been on the podcast before. He's one of my best friends. We can definitely relate because when I first came into sales with Legacy, it was Jason, Arjun, and Rohan that all mentored me, right? And some of the nuggets I picked up from them just totally changed the trajectory, of my career and definitely changed my rookie experience. So talk to me about, having Arjun, Rohan as mentors. How did they contribute to this golden door?
Honestly, at the beginning, it was a mix of both both of them kind of hyping me up, and both of them always trained me in person, gave amazing advice. I naturally started to build a relationship more with Arjun. He would be the one that I text during the season. Um, I don't know why it just kind of occurred that way. Me and Arjun were the ones talking, when I was away on the road in northern Alberta and he was back in Kelowna. When we were in person, the training that the twins provided together was phenomenal. Obviously, they have so much knowledge and they train on little things that you'd never even think about, like paraverbals and other fun sales stuff that we get into. And some of the ways like they would tell me to do certain objection handles, you just think that's so unique and interesting in the way that you can get people to buy by saying certain things and really tapping into the emotion. So I thought that initially that like they were extremely intelligent and very experienced in sales, and that led me to trust them fully with my path. And I don't know, I just naturally fully trusted them as mentors and realized that pretty much what they say goes. If you want to be successful, find someone who's already doing the thing that you want and just pretty much copy them, right? Um, and then during the season, I had calls with Arjun every week, and I would call him when I'm having tough days. And honestly, he would always find a way to motivate me because he's not only my mentor, but he's a really good friend as well. And just building that relationship up with him where he was able to call me out on my bullshit and not just feed me the niceties that I wanted to hear, that really, really helped me out as well because he was being realistic. He was like, this is hard. This is hard. But if you want to get it done, this is what you got to do. Keep grinding. And he knew that I wasn't the type of person he needed to be like, oh, you just keep working. Cause I never had a problem with that. I would keep working no matter what. I know that going and sitting on the bench is not going to solve your problem of getting more sales, right? So I would say like they helped a ton. I'm extremely grateful to be able to call them my mentors and good friends. and I really hope that I can keep developing my relationship with them.
Amazing, man. Amazing. No, that's awesome. It definitely is it's different when you're listening to someone who's done it before, right? They can give you that kick in the ass, whereas someone who hasn't done it, right, you might not listen to them as much just because you're thinking in your head, oh, you haven't done it, right? Like, you don't know what I'm actually going through.
Uh-huh.
Whereas Arjun, right, he can say, hey, man, like, get your act together, or tell you something that, is going to resonate a lot more. Just that, have that influence, right?
100.
But, okay, cool. So you talked a little bit about, like you're a workhorse, right? And you got to be a workhorse, especially if you're going to hit a golden door in your rookie year. So talk to us about that discipline that you have and you curated over time, and talk to us about just the importance of working your hours. Talk to us about that.
Yeah, so the first thing that I'll say before that is I'm not perfect. And there's a lot of people out there that tell me, like, oh my God, you're so disciplined, you do this all the time. I'm not perfect. I had days where I slipped up too. And that's okay. Just because you slip up one day doesn't mean that overall you're not a disciplined person. So I just want to say that to all the other young people out there who want to become disciplined. This is a big goal. When you have something you have to do over a really long period of time, like you will have days where you just need a mental break. And that for me, that didn't mean like stop working. It just mean maybe I got off a little bit early because I was like, I need this. I need this right now. It's getting crazy. But at the end of the day, the discipline came from building up good habits, which is like I said, before I started door-to-door sales, I built up an amazing foundation of non-negotiable things that I do every day, like going to the gym, journaling, eating right, pursuing knowledge, meditating, and doing these things no matter what, because I knew that it would make me better. So naturally, I already had the knowledge that even though you're not seeing results right away, if you do it over time, it will compound. And that's kind of what helped me keep going out every single day and working. And there's people say like, oh yeah, we're working 14-hour days in the summer season, 3 months straight. Like that's great. I knew that I wouldn't be able to do that for like, the 7, 8 months out of the year, obviously. But I knew that if I at least went out and got a few sales every single day, I calculated at least a few sales, then I will hit my goal. So that kept me going. Even, when people were staying in the hotel, it was me and a few of the other guys from the team. Braxton. He was one of my um, workmates and a really good friend. We live together now in West Kelowna, a few of us sales guys, but just being able to compete with him as well and motivating each other to go for the goal, that really helped too, to stay disciplined. But I knew that if no one else was going out, me and him were usually the guys that go out and still get a few sales because we had really big goals that we wanted to achieve.
I love that, man. I love that. Talk to me about your daily routine. So what was your daily routine? What did it look like on a daily basis? What time were you getting on the doors? How late were you staying out there on the doors? What were some of the things you did at the beginning of the day, end of the day, if any? Talk to me about that.
Yeah, so my routine always included after I wake up, um, I would eat usually, or I would go to the gym before I eat. I definitely have the gym, but the first thing is journaling and doing the gratitude. I would always write down what I'm grateful for and write down my daily, weekly, monthly, and yearly goal. That repetition really helps ingrain it in your mind and set you on the frequency of success. So I would always write down my gratitude. I would read. Reading is very important, pursuing knowledge. And then I would eat. I ate twice a day during the summer season. I still do. Never ate on the doors because getting off the doors, you break your momentum. So, actually, I wouldn't say never because at the beginning, when I was a little bit like this was still thinking like this was tough, like I would go and take a break and go eat and then come back on the doors. But as I realized I needed to get serious, I would only keep eating to twice a day. We got on the doors at different times. It would usually be between 11 a.m. and 1 p.m. And then during the summer, I would stay out for anywhere from 8 to 10. During the winter season, though, I'm getting on the doors at like 11 to 1, same type of thing, but staying out till like 6 p.m. just because it gets dark at 5. Some days, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, some days I got so many sales in a short period of time that I would just work like 3 hours and go home and go do something else because we were on the road. We had nothing fun to do. That's part of, I'm not going to sit here and say I was perfect 100% of the time. Some days if I got like two or three sales, I'd get complacent and I would go because that's part of being human. You don't have to be perfect 100% of the time. You have to be perfect most of the time, and that's how you'll achieve your goal.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. I really liked what you said before about, hey, I'm human, right? Because people think that, Golden Door winners are untouchable and they idolize them and they think, holy cow, there's no way that could be me. I remember that's how I used to think of Golden Door winners, right? When I first came into the industry, thought they were gods, right?
Mhm.
But when you actually achieve the Golden Door, you kind of look back and you're like, holy man, like I'm capable of so much more because I felt like I left a lot on the table. Like
Mhm.
obviously I did great, but you look back and you're like, oh dude, like I wasn't militant about being on the door. I could have got out there earlier. I could have stayed out there later. I could have, took less breaks, right? And we all have those days, right? Door-to-door salespeople, it's a long season where, hey, I'm cutting out early today. I hit my numbers or whatever the case, right? And there's beauty in that, part of the job, but overall, I really like what you said there about, hey, I'm human. It is what it is. But do you feel like after you hit the Golden Door, like, you look back and you're like, okay, next year, like it's entirely possible to go even higher, even more.
Oh, 100%. 100%. Yeah, like it's easy to sit here and be like, oh, this was so hard. Which it was. It was more mentally hard than physically, if anything. But it's easy to sit here and say that it was like super tough and like anyone else trying it, like good luck. Like it honestly, it's very, very achievable. Anyone can do it if you have the goal. That's what keeps you out a little bit longer, keeps you getting that extra sale. And and that's exactly the thing. Like I know if I set a bigger goal, it wouldn't be that hard. And I would still have days like that with the bigger goal, but I'm just a lot better now. So it would be a lot easier to achieve it, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So what do you say to a rookie trying to achieve big things in their first year? What would be your advice to a rookie watching this who, wants to come in, have a monster year like you did, or, potentially even go for a Golden Door? Because now that you've done it, it's entirely possible for someone else to do it, right? So what advice would you give to them?
Try and break my record. That genuinely, that's the advice that I would give. If you're somebody who's goal oriented and you you want to achieve big things, go bigger. Go bigger than I did. That will motivate you so much more, knowing that you're doing something historical, which is what I encourage everybody to do. If you're getting in this career, try and go historical. Try and go historical. You only get that chance once in your rookie year. So try and do that because that will motivate you so much more, knowing that you're going for something that's never been done before. That's honestly what kept me out. And I was like, I'm going to be so proud of myself when I finally achieved this because nobody has done it. And being able to just say that, it's not for other people, it's for you. And that helped for me build so much credibility in my mind and build faith in myself that I could succeed at anything that I do. Then I'm able to take on way bigger ventures and challenges. So my recommendation would be go huge, go huge. Like if you have somebody believing in you, which I also recommend, like cultivating a relationship with a strong mentor. That's like probably the most important thing. Like cultivate a strong relationship with a mentor who can believe in you and go really, really big. And also, outside of that, have a big personal goal. Outside of the sales, have a big personal goal that doing this goal will help you achieve. That would be pretty my recommendations.
Yep, that's amazing. I think a little hack we can all use as salespeople is to emotionalize our goals, right? Kind of romanticize our life. We have such a huge vehicle. So don't just have your sales goal, but have your vision of what you want out of life. Emotionalize it all, whether it's a chip on your shoulder or whether it's your dream, right? For you, clearly that's retiring your parents, right? That's a
Hmm.
strong goal. That's so much
Incredible.
stronger than, just hitting 400 accounts or, selling X amount of accounts for whatever industry you're in. You can really emotionalize that goal and make it mean something to you. You and God, it's going to give you the power to move mountains, right?
That's right.
So that's awesome, man. You talked off air about how you loved, obviously you really enjoyed learning all the sales skills, but what you loved about door to door was just the personal development. So talk to me about how the personal development is just a huge aspect of this job, and what were some of the things that you did to, improve your personal development over the year?
Yeah, honestly, the amount of connections that I've built, because since I've hit this golden door, right? Like I've I've started doing social media pretty heavy, and just the amount of connections that I've built in the industry already. Because I also had like a video go pretty viral and do good and like get a bunch of attention. Like just the connections that I've built have been of such use. I felt like I've leveled up massively, because before that I had some success in the business world, but I would say that I wasn't 100% sure of myself. Like when I was taking risks, I wasn't 100% sure. I was probably 95% sure, but there's still like a seed of doubt. And just doing this over time and being able to hit this goal and showing up every day knowing that I can make this crazy amount of money by just talking to people has planted a huge seed of faith within me and eliminated the last bit of doubt that I had. So now I know that I can take big risks and be sure of myself, which is ultimately what I think all of us need to strive towards, is being 100% sure in ourselves and having faith in your ultimate purpose, and knowing that if you believe strongly in what it is you want to achieve and your goal and the time frame that you set on yourself, you will make it happen. If you there's a saying, it's funny because it's in the Bible, but it translates so well to the world, is if you have the faith of a mustard seed, you can move mountains, right? I think that's how the saying goes, but that's true, because it's faith is not something you can have a little bit of. It's something that is either you have faith or you don't have faith, right? Because if you have but a seed of doubt, that will encapsulate everything, and that will um destroy your goals, because it's always the supporting thought that wins in your mind. And if your supporting thought is doubt, then you're going to be doubtful of yourself. That's the frequency that you're going to project. So being able to develop over the summer with my, you know, with the guys that I was selling with, build the relationship with them, be able to get into a leadership role and help them develop, which helped me as a leader. And then also being able to crush these sales targets and see how much money I made. I think all of that compounded into leveling me up massively. But I'm still nowhere near where I want to be. And I know the journey is just beginning. So I'm excited to see how it's going to end up.
I'm excited to see too, man. Like, for context, for those listening, I got into alarms. I sold, 30 alarms my first year at Vivint. Now, 4 years later, I'm a Golden Door winner. You came into the game and you just sold 405 alarms. So we're talking about what, 10x, 15x? Crazy.
I mean, with cancels, I sold, I think, about 480. So
Wow.
480, and then there was cancels. So
Right. So, wow,
oh,
crazy, right? So you're definitely on the right path. Talk to me a little bit about social media. I see what you're doing, man. For those that don't follow him already, make sure you take some time right now. Follow Daniil. What's your handle?
it's a Danny Senko.
Danny's
Dain. Yeah, my first and last name got a little combination. Danny
sound.
Senko, yeah.
You'll see lots of the reels. We'll post it all, but you're crushing the social media game, man. I see you connecting. You're a big community guy. I see you connecting with others within the industry. You're posting every single day. Just talk to me about, I'm trying to do the same thing with obviously this podcast. And over the years, I've always just noticed just the importance of social media, branding, and just using it as leverage, right? I'm a big fan of, there might be only 30 people that watch this podcast. There might be 500, but I understand that those 30 people that watch, like, when else are you going to be able to talk to 30 people inside of a room, right? So I'm a big fan of that. There's no better medium where you can leverage social media and just get your message out to so many people. Talk to me about your take on social media, what your plans are with it, and who you're connecting with inside of the industry.
Yeah, so social media, I think, is a great place that you're able to give first and foremost, because if you give, you will get back tenfold. So social media is an amazing way where you can give all of the value that you have. And like, you should never gatekeep information, right? You should always seek to help as much as you can and feel good, because like, I know a lot of people sometimes, will feel that if they give away their information that they'll have nothing after that. But in reality, all information is already out there. It's just implementation that people sell. So I felt like social media was a good place for me to give the knowledge that I have to help other young men and build up a community, because that was ultimately my goal, is build up a community of young guys so that I'm able to help them achieve the same things and achieve happiness and freedom of time and purpose first and foremost. And the other thing is social media is an amazing way to build an audience and build opportunities. Because as you grow, like, different people will message you. And I'm a big believer in the principle that you will achieve your goal if you fully believe in it, but not in the means that you think. So my goal is to retire my parents by the end of 2025, tell my dad that he has to stop working. And I know that the way that I'm going to achieve that is not how I think. So just casting that out and doing things that you feel intuitively are going to get you closer to that goal, which for me was social media. I feel like that's what opens up the opportunities for you and makes those things happen. So with social media, it's such a great medium for you to, number one, build an audience, like-minded people that then you can render a service or product to. Number two, to make connections with people in the industry, which are then going to help you in your business ventures as well. And then number three is just to serve the world and serve people and be a good human, because you never know who's going to watch your video. Somebody might watch your video and say, hey man, this is exactly what I needed, which I've had a few of those messages so far, and that makes me feel really, really good. And I just had a video go to like 50K, which made me feel really good as well, because that again showed me that if I had a video go to 50K, that means I can have a video go to a mil. I can have a video go to 10 million. I just need to do it right. So definitely get on social media, start posting your value. Somebody can benefit from it. You don't need to post. One thing that Dan Martell says, which is really good, is like, you're not posting for the people that are 10 steps above you. You're posting for somebody that's just one step behind you. There's always somebody that's one step behind you that you can help. So that's who you're helping out. And anytime that you want to post, or you feel like you don't want to post, just think of that. There's always somebody one step behind you, and make a video that you wish you had when you were one step behind. That can help you, right?
Yep. I love that, man. Clearly you have a Northern Star, right? And you have a journey that you're on the road for. Which people obviously are going to gravitate to you because you have a purpose. And yeah, guys, if you take this little, clip, get on social media. If you're in door to door, you already have the most interesting job in the world. You literally knock on people's doors. You have hundreds of interactions. You try to sell them, right? Products and services, benefit their life. Like, document it. And don't care what people think. You shouldn't care what people think. You literally talk to strangers all day. Who cares what people think? And guess what? They don't care, right? So, 2025, we're in the digital age. Make sure you guys get on social media. But awesome, man. Okay, cool. Let's get a little bit tactical. Let's go back to the tactics, okay? So we'll wrap it up soon here. But I want you to just give your first 30-second intro of what you're saying out there. Go ahead, start us off. I just want to hear your first 30 seconds, okay? I know you're a little bit rusty, but we'll work through it. Don't worry.
My first 30-second pitch, eh?
Yep.
Okay. I had so many different pitches. I'll just do like a basic general one.
Perfect.
Yeah, because there's different markets. Right now, I'll just give the one that I've been giving in Kelowna. Just be like,
okay,
knock on your door now.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, man, how you doing?
I'm all right.
Yeah, I'm so sorry to bug you, man. I'll be super quick. My name's Daniil. I'm just the TELUS guy. Have you seen me working in the area at all, or not too much?
No. What are you doing?
That's totally okay. Like, have you seen our trucks going by? Maybe installing some of the neighbors?
No.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah, we're just doing a big special in the area with TELUS. I'll tell you super quick. Basically, the only reason that we're out here is because TELUS is doing a special program. It's the Purple Sign program. Have you heard of it at all or no?
No.
Okay, that's fine. Basically, what it is, they just came out with the new home security a couple of weeks ago. So they're trying to kind of roll it out into the market, and they're doing a big special. Basically, they're setting up 3 people on your street. The deal is, if you're willing to put out one of the purple signs, just to let people know that you have it, they actually come and set you up. They give you like $1,500 worth of equipment for free. They cover all of your installation, give you free warranty. The only thing you have to cover is just the monitoring. It's a pretty crazy deal. Basically what they do, and then I would go into the product after that.
Amazing, man. Amazing. I miss the old sign pitch from back in the day, but that's great, dude. You did a lot of actually advanced things. Obviously, like let's talk about it. You drop names, right? You spark that curiosity of, hey, have you heard about what's going on out here? You use your metaverbal communication, which I love to do. A lot of people don't pick up on that, but you framed the conversation as, so the only reason why I'm actually knocking on your door, right? As in you're isolating what you're about to say next. And you got really excited about the deal, right? If you're not excited about the deal, people aren't going to be excited. He's
That's
so
the
excited.
secret. That's the secret. You got to be excited.
Exactly,
the deals we have
man.
are crazy. Nobody's out here doing security like we do. The installation's amazing. Our installation guys are amazing. Our price is amazing. Our service is amazing. You got to be, I actually get like when I was just pitching you, I was feeling that same excitement that I feel when I'm on the doors. And that just makes me sad when they don't reciprocate that, when they don't feel it. I'm just like, okay. But
100%.
I don't care. I'll still be excited the next door because it's a crazy deal. Some people will just buy because they feel your emotions. They don't even want the security, but you believe in it so much that they believe in it now.
And is going to buy, even if they're not really looking into it, like you just getting excited about the deal, what is that going to do? Well, what the hell is the deal, right? Like, let me hear more about this, and then you can sell them throughout your presentation, right? But yeah, no, I love that. And you clearly have conviction in what you're selling. Anyone who hits a golden door or even does well in their field has extreme conviction in the product that they sell. And I have the same thought process. If someone doesn't buy off me, I'm just thinking to myself, okay, I haven't done a good enough job about explaining what we actually do, what we're actually offering, because if I could do a better job of communicating what we actually offer for the price we're doing it for, everyone should be buying this service, right? So clearly you have the same mindset. But amazing, bro. Amazing. Okay, well, let's wrap it up here because I know you got to be somewhere. But tell me what's next for Daniil Tarasenco. What are you doing next? I know right now you're traveling a little bit, but talk to us about your future plans. What's going on?
So my future plans, at least for the next 6 months, I'm taking the money that I earned. I'm moving to Miami, investing in an apartment, and I'm fully locking in. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to build out a community for young men in sales. We're going to teach them what makes successful sales reps, especially people that are just starting. We're going to teach them the discipline. We're going to teach them the nutrition, the gym, the meditation, the reading. We're going to teach them the foundation. We're going to help them out. And we're going to launch a crap ton of content. All of it's going to be free. But more importantly, we're going to build a community where they can get support, go in there. And the crazy thing is, with those people that we build out, we're actually going to have opportunities for them to come and sell. So we will start building sales teams in a couple of months with these people that we've developed. But anybody that's in sales can join. People that are looking to start that already. Our goal is to help young men out. And me and my buddy Louis are starting that. Louis Moucher Windows on Instagram. You guys probably know him. He's the window guy. But yeah, so that's one thing that I'm going to be doing. I'm going to also be focusing on my e-commerce business, which is what I was doing before this. And all in all, just keep giving value to the world. I'm going to keep serving people because I'm extremely happy, extremely fulfilled. I have a purpose and I want to share that with the world. And I really want people to join me on my journey as well because it's going to be phenomenal. And I'm already telling you guys, when this goal is accomplished, I felt the same way I do now at the beginning of the Golden Door, or as I did at the beginning of the Golden Door, as I'm taking on this goal now of retiring my parents by the end of next year. And I know it's crazy, but when I tell my dad that he can quit his job before December 1st, it's going to be phenomenal. So for the next 6 months, that's what the plan is. And after that, who knows, guys? We'll see. But I got the ultimate goal, and that's what we're going to make happen.
This guy is going places. This guy is lightning in a bottle. Crazy, man. Crazy what you've accomplished. Crazy your vision, your goals. I know you're going to go far in life. It's been an inspiring conversation with you, man. So thank you so much. Make sure you follow this guy. Obviously, he's got big goals. He's going for it. So follow his journey on his Instagram. I'm sure he'll be posting lots about what he's doing in the next couple months here. Thank you, Daniil. Appreciate you, man. And for those listening, make sure you rate this podcast 5 stars on Spotify. If you think it's crap, rate it 1 star. I respect it. But we're on a quest to be the #1 podcast for sales in all of Canada. So make sure you get that done. And I appreciate all you guys to listening. Daniil, amazing brother. And I'm excited for what you do in the future. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you so much, James. It's been a blessing. It's been amazing talking to you.
All right, brother. Well, Merry Christmas. Enjoy Mexico. I'll be down there as well. And yeah, man, all the best. Keep on pushing.
Take care. Bye-bye.